Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh, coming up in the next hour. To get Russia and Ukraine on table for peace talks, US President Trump threatens Russia with sanctions until ceasefire deal reached. In the wake of massive protest in Greece, government survives no confidence vote in parliament over deadly 2023 train crash. India's Pranav Venkatesh clinches World Junior Chess Championship in Petrovac city of Montenegro. And it's International Women's Day today, a day to celebrate strength of women and express appreciation for their presence in our lives. US President Donald Trump on Friday threatened new sanctions and tariffs on Russia, days after pausing military aid and intelligence support to Ukraine. He called on both the countries to get on with the negotiation of the peace deal. Trump's threat of banking curbs and tariffs followed a report that White House was preparing to give Russia possible sanctions relief as part of the push to end the conflict and improve diplomatic and economic ties with Moscow. The president offered a more conciliatory view of President Vladimir Putin in comments later in the day, saying that he believed the Russian leader wanted peace. He also said it was easier to work with Russia than Ukraine in efforts to end the conflict. Russia, one of the world's biggest oil producers, is already subject to wide-ranging sanctions imposed by United States and partners after February 2022. US sanctions on Russia include measures aimed at limiting its oil and gas revenues, including a cap of $60 per barrel on Russia's oil exports. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio held a call with Ukrainian Foreign Minister Andrei Sybiha on Friday, told him President Trump was determined to end the Russia-Ukraine conflict as soon as possible. Though Ukraine's position in Kursk has deteriorated sharply in the last 3 days, as Russian forces have almost surrounded thousands of Ukrainian troops who stormed into Russia's Kursk region last summer. The Russian counteroffensive has nearly cut off the Ukrainian force in two and separated the main group from its principal supply lines. Russian forces also damaged energy and gas infrastructure inside Ukraine overnight in their first major missile attack since US paused intelligence sharing with Ukraine. Ukrainian President Zelensky, meanwhile, welcomed the ongoing discussions with US President Trump's team and aid support from European nations.
Сьогодні увесь день.
Today, the most intensive work with the President Trump's teams at various levels has been ongoing all day. Many calls. The focus is clear. Peace as soon as possible. Security as reliably as possible. Ukraine is committed to being as constructive as possible. Today, Russia's strike on our energy system and civilian infrastructure happen as routinely for Russia as ever, just as vile and cynical as always, as if there was no efforts by Ukraine and the world to end this war.
And for more on these developments, DT India correspondent Amritpal Singh joins us from New Delhi. Amrit, good morning. What are the complexities around the potential ceasefire, even as Trump pushes both Putin and Zelensky onto the negotiating table?
Well, the complexities, Shubhendu, stem from the fact that both sides have their own priorities. While Ukraine, we know, has been pushing for security guarantees, which the US is either in no mood to get them for Ukraine or does not have that kind of leverage with Vladimir Putin. While the Russians have their own priorities, they want to start with the Istanbul formula of 2022, which failed when Zelensky and the European powers, and at that time even the United States, did not agree to begin. So the idea is that what Donald Trump is trying to do is to use both the stick and carrot to get both sides onto the negotiating table. It's not going to be easy. Zelensky is meeting Marco Rubio and Tim Walz in Saudi Arabia next week. Both sides have come down. Russia also is economically stressed. Those factors are there, but what happens to issues like the gains that Russia has already made? Will they be ready to stop that? Who will blink first? Because last night, again, Zelensky's called for the first silence in the skies and the sea. So will there be first a ceasefire and then the negotiation? So all these terms and conditions are really the complexities, and both sides will try and negotiate hard. United States realizes that both of them have their own limitations as well. He's made statements like he would want to get them on the table as fast as possible, threaten more curbs, banking curbs, and more sanctions on Russia. But on the meantime, in the same breath said that it's easier to deal with Russia than with Zelensky. So he's using the typical carrot and stick policy here.
Right. Meanwhile, the pause on American defense and intelligence support for Ukraine, it is clearly an advantage Russia in the battleground.
Absolutely. Look at what happened last night. The way they are pounding the Ukrainians, be it in Donetsk, be it in Kursk, be it hitting their infrastructure, energy infrastructure. They launched about 70 missiles, 200 drones. In an overnight attack. So clearly, with the backing, it is very clear that this was not Ukraine versus Russia. It was the West versus Russia. Now, if the Americans pull out their support, which they have for the moment, though the European support is coming in $1 billion, Zelensky says that UK has already given it from the frozen assets of Russia. But without American support, Ukraine cannot fight this war. That's very clear. And it is clearly advantage Russia, at least on the battleground or the battlefield. And that is up to now Donald Trump to how much can he pressurize Putin to see a reason and come to the negotiating table.
Amritpal, thank you for joining us with those updates. China has announced retaliatory tariffs on Canadian agricultural and food products on Saturday against Ottawa's tariffs introduced in October on Chinese-made electric vehicles, steel and aluminium products. The tariffs announced by the Commerce Ministry will take effect from March 20th. It adds a new front to a trade war largely driven by US President Donald Trump's announcements of tariffs on Canada, Mexico and China, and threats of protectionist measures on other nations. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said in August that Ottawa was imposing the levies to counter what he called China's intentional state-directed policy of overcapacity following the lead of United States and European Union, both of which have also applied import levies to Chinese-made electric vehicles. China is Canada's second largest trading partner, trailing far behind the United States. On to some other stories. The foreign ministers from the 57-member Organization for Islamic Cooperation, OIC, met at its headquarters in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, 3 days after the Arab League endorsed Egypt's alternative plan for Gaza. At the meet, OIC members adopted the Arab nation's counter-proposal to President Donald Trump's Gaza takeover plan. At the meeting held in Cairo on March 4th, Arab leaders had adopted an Egyptian reconstruction plan for Gaza that would cost around $53 billion, avoid displacing Palestinians from the enclave, in contrast to President Trump's Middle East Riviera vision.
It is certainly very positive that the emergency ministerial meeting of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation adopted the Egyptian plan, which has now become an Arab Islamic plan. The next step is for it to be an international plan.
And Germany is supporting the plan put forward by Arab states for Gaza reconstruction. According to Chancellor Olaf Scholz, spokesperson, who said in Berlin on Friday it contained many good elements that can be built upon. And also spokesperson for the Foreign Minister, Annalena Baerbock, added that Berlin would now closely discuss the details with Western and other Arab partners.
Die Bundesregierung begrüßt den Plan zum
The German government welcomes the plan for the reconstruction of the Gaza Strip, presented by the Arab League, which was largely prepared by Egypt. The plan contains many good elements that can be built upon, and constructive discussions on this plan should begin now. It is of central importance to the German government that Gaza no longer poses a threat to Israel. The German government agrees with its G7 partners that there must be neither a new military buildup nor Hamas participation in government in the future.
Noch zu einer Regierungsbeteiligung.
Syria witnessed worst violence since the fall of Bashar al-Assad in December last year. Syrian security forces battled to crush an insurgency by fighters from Assad's Alawite sect in coastal region of western Syria. Authorities also imposed curfew in the cities of Latakia and Tartus, where the fighting has broken out. Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said more than 250 people have been killed since the clashes erupted on Thursday. UN meanwhile has said there is an immediate need for restraint from all parties. Russia too has called on all leaders to stop bloodshed. Fuzail Ahmad gets us more. Islamist-led government in Syria faces the biggest challenge yet to its authority as scores were reported killed in 2 days of violence in the coastal region of western Syria. Residents say violence began with killings of Alawite civilians in the Datur area of Latakia. Syria's leader, Ahmad al-Shara, urged insurgents from toppled President Bashar al-Assad's Alawite minority to lay down their arms before it's too late.
وأؤكد عليهم
We will continue to pursue the remnants of the fallen regime, those who refused but to continue their operations and tyranny, those who committed crimes against the people, and those who seek to undermine security and civil peace. We will bring them to a fair court.
في غيه وطغيانه.
While the authorities say violence spiraled on Thursday after groups of Assad-aligned militia targeted security patrols and checkpoints in the Jable area surrounding countryside, curfews were declared on Friday in the coastal city of Tartus and Latakia. In view of violence, reinforcements were sent to the coastal region to crush a nascent insurgency by fighters from Bashar al-Assad's Alawite sect. In northwest of Hama, Syria's new authorities' security forces held a funeral in Qasoon village for a fighter killed in clashes with fighters loyal to former President Bashar al-Assad. Syrians took to the streets on Friday to rally in support of the government in Damascus and other cities. The United Nations has expressed concerns over violence. In a statement, the Office of Special Envoy of Secretary General of Syria said, all parties should refrain from actions that could further inflame tensions, escalate conflict, exacerbate the suffering of affected communities, destabilize Syria, and jeopardize a credible and inclusive political transition. While Russian Foreign Ministry on Friday said it was alarmed by a sharp deterioration in security situation in Syria and called on all respected leaders of the country to try to stop the bloodshed as soon as possible. According to UN, more than 300,000 refugees have returned to Syria since President Assad was overthrown, while nearly 1 million more people were displaced inside the country have returned to their homes.
1 million internally displaced people living in camps and sites across northwest Syria intend to return to their areas of origin within the next year. 600,000 of them before the end of the summer 2025, according to a new large-scale intention survey carried out by UNHCR.
Bashar al-Assad was toppled in a lightning offensive late last year by rebels who have now formed a transitional government. Fuzail Ahmad reports for DD India. And still to come on DD India News Hour. Severe storm has ravaged Argentine port city of Bahia Blanca. South Carolina carries out the first firing squad execution in the US in 15 years. And India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar visit to Ireland. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. Greece's centre-right government narrowly survived a no-confidence vote on Friday, despite intense public outcry over the country's deadliest train crash in the year 2023. The opposition had accused Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis' government of negligence and cover-up, but the ruling party denied any wrongdoing. The train crash was sparked widespread anger, with hundreds and thousands demanding justice and accountability. Protests outside the parliament turned violent, with clashes between demonstrators and police, resulting in 61 detentions. Greek leader ruled out an early election, citing the country's economic recovery. However, the government's popularity has taken a hit, with many Greeks questioning the immunity enjoyed by politicians. North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un visited major shipyards to inspect construction projects of naval vessels and nuclear submarines. Kim Jong-un emphasized the importance of strengthening naval power. During the visit, he said that naval power and its nuclear armament was crucial to the sovereignty of the country, bound by sea on the eastern and western sides. Kim also said the country would not tolerate maritime and underwater military activities being carried out by enemies, such as deployment of strategic assets, that its maritime defense would not be limited to a certain area but cover as much as it deemed necessary to maintain peace. South Carolina executed a convicted murderer by firing squad on Friday. This was the first use of the method in the United States in about 15 years. Brad Sigmund chose to be killed by a firing squad, saying he feared the alternatives of electric chair or lethal injection would risk a slower and more torturous death. Sigmund was convicted of beating to death his ex-girlfriend's parents, William and Gladys Lark, with a baseball bat at their home in the town of Taylors in 2001. After he was shot, Sigmund appeared to take 2 short breaths and a bloodstain appeared on his chest. He was pronounced dead about 3 minutes after the shots were fired. A few hours before the scheduled execution time, US Supreme Court rejected Sigmund's final petition to halt his killing. The court, in a brief unsigned notice with no noted dissents, denied his application, which argued that South Carolina's refusal to share information about its lethal injection protocol violated his due process rights. The anti-abortion movement in the US has set its sights on a new target, which the doctor is sending pills across state lines to help women end unwanted pregnancies. Since the US Supreme Court's decision to overturn the federal protection of the right to an abortion, states like Texas and Louisiana have adopted tough anti-abortion laws. Texas and Louisiana are launching a legal case against a doctor in New York. A state, in turn, has passed a shield law to protect its physicians from outside prosecutions. In Texas, Attorney General declared that out-of-state doctors may not illegally and dangerously prescribe abortion-inducing drugs to Texas residents. Brazil's Sao Paulo state confirmed on Friday a case of new Mpox strain, the first case of the clade IBM Mpox in the region. The strain was detected in a 29-year-old woman who lives in Sao Paulo metropolitan region, who had contact with a relative coming from Congo. Mpox is an infectious disease that can cause a painful rash in large lymph nodes, fever, headache, muscle ache, back pain, and low energy. The outbreak began in Democratic Republic of Congo, spread to neighboring countries, with Sweden becoming the first country outside of Africa to report a case last year. Let's turn to some weather updates now. Cyclone Alfred weakened into a tropical low on Saturday. However, its impact continues to be felt along the Australia's eastern coast. Hundreds and thousands of properties in Queensland and New South Wales are without power, and intense rainfall is expected to persist throughout the weekend. The Bureau of Met warns of dangerous and life-threatening flash flooding along 400-kilometre stretch of coastline. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese expressed grave concerns and urged residents not to be complacent, as the storm's impact will intensify over the coming hours and days. A severe storm has ravaged the Argentine port city of Bahia Blanca. leaving 10 people dead and hundreds evacuated. Bahia Blanca city received over 400 millimeter of rain in just 8 hours. That is equivalent to its annual rainfall average. Some 1,000 people were evacuated to safety, but the death toll could still rise. The city's airport was closed. Officials warned of potential electric shocks due to the flooding. Peru is grappling with its worst floods, with rescue teams in central Peru's Panuco region working tirelessly to save people and animals affected by the disaster. The floods triggered by heavy rains caused the Hualaga River to overflow, inundating homes and infrastructure. The disaster has also claimed lives, with Peruvian media reporting the death of 4 individuals in a landslide triggered by the flooding. Japan partially lifted wildfire evacuation orders on Friday after rain helped stop the country's worst blaze in more than half a century from spreading. The wildfire engulfed about 2,900 hectares, that's around half the size of Manhattan, making it Japan's largest in more than 50 years. Our correspondent Paulomi Barman joins us for more updates on Japan fire. The evacuation is underway in full swing. Paulomi, what's the latest that you can share?
Yes, so the evacuation orders for approximately 1,000 residents in Ofunato city has been lifted, which marks a significant turning point for Japan's most severe wildfire in about half a century. Columns of white smoke were seen coming out from the mountains after the snow and rainfall for over 3 days until Wednesday. This was reported by some of the agency workers around that area. The recent rainfall and snow have been instrumental in suppressing the spread of the wildfire, allowing authorities to deem certain areas safe for the residents to go back.
And Paulomi, is there any assessment of the damage caused by the deadly fire?
Yes, following the containment of the Ofunato city wildfire, authorities are now focusing on assessing the damage and initiating recovery efforts. Teams are conducting aerial surveys, and teams have even gone near the forest areas to assess the loss of forest land. And as we indicated before, almost 80 housing buildings have been charred by the fire, and the government is coordinating with the local agencies to support and these affected residents and in restructuring these buildings once again.
Paulomi, thank you for those updates. Moving on to other stories, India and South Korea have conducted signing of exchange of notes for technical cooperation, project titled Strengthening Vocational Education and Training in Mechatronics in India. The project will be implemented with Korea International Cooperation Agency collaborating with NCERT, or National Council of Educational Research and Training in India. The project, which spans over 2 years, aims to establish a basis of vocational education and training in mechatronics in India and will be implemented by NCERT at Regional Institute of Education, Bhopal. India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, on his second and last day of Ireland visit, inaugurated India's newest consulate in Belfast in Northern Ireland. He said the consulate will serve the needs of the Indian community while also exploring further cooperation in trade, technology, business and education. Dr. Jaishankar also met the Deputy First Minister of Northern Ireland, Emma Little Bengali, and Junior Minister Aisling Riley in Belfast. He thanked them for setting up of the Indian consulate. The new one, leaders discussed possibilities for deepening of India's engagement with Northern Ireland, especially in skills, cyber tech, creative industries and manufacturing. Dr. Jaishankar also visited Queen's University in Belfast, where he said that their upcoming campus in Gift City, Gujarat, India, is an example of the potential India-UK ties in education. The minister appreciated the interaction with Indian students currently studying at the university. As Minister Jaishankar nears his UK and Ireland visit, the minister spelled out 3 focus areas of India-UK ties.
The focus number 1 is to obviously serve the Indian community, which is about 10,000 and growing. Focus number 2 is to explore the economic opportunities here. And we see those opportunities increasing because our ties with the UK are deepening. And this is also a meeting point in a way for the UK with the European Union. Focus number 3 is actually education and technology. We have a number of IT companies here. We have an important university here, the Queen's University, which has decided to set up a presence in India. And of course, it has, this is a part of UK where there's a strong history of manufacturing. There's a lot of industry here. There's a shipbuilding activity here. So there's lots really which are possible.
In Japan, the Embassy of India marked National Science Day 2025 with grand event highlighting the theme Empowering Indian Youth for Global Leadership in Science and Innovation for Viksit Bharat, launching the India-Japan Year of Science and Technology, Innovation and Exchange. DD India's Polami Barman gets us more.
Science, Technology and Innovation, an event organized by the Indian Embassy in Tokyo to encourage the young enthusiasts in the field. It also marked the India-Japan Year of Science, Technology and Innovation Exchange. The event commenced with a vibrant science exhibition inaugurated by Ambassador Shibi George, showcasing the cutting-edge research and innovative projects of students in Japan. The science exhibition was a testament to the ingenuity of young minds, showcasing a diverse range of projects from fuel-less cars designed to revolutionize energy consumption to food dehydrators tackling food waste. The students demonstrated a clear understanding of pressing global challenges. Their innovative spirit extended to the realm of artificial intelligence with displays of AI systems, automated waste segregation, and even a rain detector, highlighting the boundless possibilities of science and technology.
So it's a fuel-less car actually. It runs on marbles, so it's just nothing but your marbles, it just falls and the turbine spins, which produces the electricity, and the electricity is distributed to the motors of the wheels, and then the marbles again come up through an Archimedes screw. So it just goes on a loop without any a replacement of batteries. As the fuels are depleting year by year, so this can be a good idea.
It was about aerodynamics, about how rockets work and how it flies into the air, and we basically focused on how it revolves around the 5 domains, which is the science, technology, engineering, arts and mathematics.
As the Embassy of India in Tokyo celebrates International Science Day, leaders from both India and Japan emphasized on the importance of scientific and collaborative endeavors from both the nations. Ambassador Shibi George and Minister of State Jitendra Singh also addressed the gathering, emphasizing on India's commitment to empowering its youth in the field of science and technology.
In its own way too, the clarion call Honorable Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi ji, has given for Viksit Bharat by 2047. The cooperation would also play a crucial role for Japan in regaining its technological strength in new and emerging world with the fast technological advancement.
Empowering Indian youth for global leadership in science and innovation for Viksit Bharat. Prime Minister Honorable Narendra Modi is very forthcoming, supportive, patronizing in our scientific endeavors domestically as well as with the other nations, including Japan.
Japanese ministers Kyuichi Minoru and Toshiko Abe reiterated the importance of bilateral cooperation and crucial role of science and technology in driving economic security and societal progress.
Recently, I have been delighted to see local governments also actively working on collaboration with India, including interpersonal exchanges.
We significantly expand support for Indian graduate students conducting research in Japan. I hope this anniversary year will further deepen the partnership between Japan and India. Dhanyawad.
The enthusiasm here went beyond the speeches today. The young scientists who presented their projects is the potential of the future generation in the field of science and technology. This is Paulami Burman reporting from Tokyo for DD India.
And we're heading for a short break. There's more coming up.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. International Women's Day is being celebrated today across the world. The special day is dedicated to honoring women's achievements, raising awareness about gender equality, and advocating for a fairer society. The theme this year is for all women and girls, rights, equality, and empowerment, which highlights the importance of creating a world where every woman and girl has equal opportunities, rights, and the power to shape her future. International Women's Day serves as a global reminder that gender equality is still a work in progress. 2025 theme encourages people to take action by supporting policies and initiatives that uplift women and create equal opportunities for all. India's President Draupadi Murmu extended her heartiest greetings to all sisters and daughters on the occasion of International Women's Day. She says, and I quote, "Women are the foundation of our family, society and nation. Women have successfully carved out their identities in diverse fields despite facing adversities and challenges. However, a lot needs to be done to improve the socio-economic conditions of women. Let us all pledge to create a society where every woman feels safe and gets equal opportunities to move ahead. I congratulate all women achievers and wish them a bright future." Unquote. India's Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar also conveyed greetings on the International Women's Day. On his X account, he says, and I quote, "Greetings on International Women's Day. Women are the backbone of our society, driving transformative change with their resilience, dedication and leadership. A truly empowered society is one where women are at the forefront of growth and decision making. Let us ever remember that women-led development is the fundamental necessity for Viksit Bharat. Let us create together an inclusive, equitable and progressive future for women." Unquote. On the occasion of International Women's Day, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who is on a visit to the western coastal state of Gujarat, will participate in Lakhpati Didi program in Vasi Borsi village in Navasari district and interact with the beneficiaries. He will also felicitate 5 Lakhpati Didis with certificates. Lakhpati Didi is a self-help group scheme initiated by the government to support women financially and inspire them through adopting sustainable livelihood practices and achieving decent standard of life. Interestingly, the security arrangements of the program is being taken care by women police officers of Gujarat Police. All the women officials have done a detailed planning for the event. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi extended greetings to Nari Shakti or Women Power on Women's Day. He says the government has always worked for empowering the women, which reflects in schemes and programs. Today's promise, Prime Minister's social media properties were handled by women who are making mark in diverse fields.
हमारी संस्कृति में बेटियों का सम्मान सर्वोपरि रहा है।
इस सदी में ग्लोबल ग्रोथ में एक बहुत बड़ा फैक्टर महिलाओं की भागीदारी का होने वाला है। जो देश, जो समाज जितनी अधिक भागीदारी महिलाओं को देगा, उतना ही तेजी से ग्रो करेगा। भारत में आज विमेन लेड डेवलपमेंट का दौर है।
And women empowerment has emerged as the strength of the Indian Armed Forces as well. On the occasion of International Women's Day, we're telling the story of an Air Force officer who was the first woman to be inducted into tri-services. Watch this report by Vishal Baristo.
Indian Armed Forces are focusing a lot on women empowerment and also integration of the three services. I have with me Wing Commander Mrunalini. She is the first woman officer to be inducted in the tri-service. Let's talk to her and find out.
It has been an immense experience because when I was serving in the Air Force, we serve into a different culture. And when we have to go and work into the tri-services now, so it's not that you're working alone, it's you're working with the Air Force and the Navy. So I've been very fortunate that I was selected for this task, as Mumbai was one of the pilot project for integration, and this project was directly under the PM, with CDS being the head for the tri-services. So it was a big experience because you don't know many of the things of the other services. So when you get together, sit together, and then when you start checking that, okay, what are the things you can actually operationalize and merge, and then you come to know, oh, we have so much in common which we were not aware of, and now then we are working towards for that same goal. So it was a very big eye-opener.
Now you come from a civil background, so how did you get into Air Force and how Air Force or Defense Forces attract you?
My mom was my biggest inspiration because my mother always wanted me to become somebody who others can look up to, and she always have seen me that I should inspire the other people and the youth. So it was always a thing for me that my mom has worked very hard for me to come to this level. And when I was young, I used to see people in uniform, and I always felt that I want to step into their boots and uniform one day. And I have joined NCC. I finished my A, B and C certificates.
Well, absolutely, sky is the limit. And as the motto of Air Force also says, touch the skies with glory. With cameraman SP Dubey in Delhi, this is Vishal Baristo for DD India.
On International Women's Day, DD India is celebrating the achievements of women across various fields. Women's health remains a crucial aspect of empowerment, and to shed light on key challenges and solutions, DD India correspondent Kriti Vadera spoke to a leading gynecologist. Here's more.
This Women's Day, as we celebrate the inspiring stories of strength of the women, joining us today is Dr. Anjali Taneja, a leading gynecologist. I welcome you, Dr. Taneja, on DD India. First, to begin with, I want to know what was your success mantra of your career?
Hard work, consistency, taking challenges head on as they came, and never lose, get up and fight back.
So over a period of time, we have seen that there's a lot of awareness in terms of health, if we talk about health amongst women. How do you see this awareness?
There's definitely the awareness has increased. The females are much more focused about how they manage themselves during their journey, starting from puberty till menopause and later. Girls are more aware in adolescence. The more number of patients have started coming from cervical cancer vaccination. There is awareness about pap smear. There is awareness about how your period should start. That, like, many patients are getting their periods early, so mothers are concerned about their girls. And then every issue, a lot of pubertal issues or sexual health issues are not rushed below they're not pushed below the doormat anymore. So people have become more open about talking their concerns, and their self-awareness also, courtesy social media. People are now getting access to information more easily.
Doctor, you spoke about the positive aspects of this awareness on social media and media. So are there also any negative impacts we talk about, or which women have to take care of?
On social media, there are a lot of influencers, a lot of people talking about every domain of health. Probably people who are not qualified enough or who have not done their research enough to say on a particular subject. So every advice should not be accepted blindly. Take it with a pinch of salt. Do your own research. Check with your doctor whom you trust.
What would be your key advice to maybe the budding doctors who want to come for this career, maybe pursuing gynecology?
So any young girl or boys who want to be gynacs, please remember it's a branch which wants you to work day and night throughout your life. So there is no shortcut to it. It is a demanding branch. You're simultaneously dealing with two lives, and you're dealing with a female who the first contact in India comes largely when the patient is pregnant. So that is the emotional journey for the female, for the family. So you're connected to your patients emotionally, you're connected to them medically.
So this was Dr. Anjali Taneja telling us how we can empower ourselves in terms of health. With camera person Mohit Joshi, I'm Kriti Vadhera reporting from New Delhi for DD India.
And on this International Women's Day, we celebrate the indomitable spirit of women who are shaping India's future, be it through entrepreneurship, scientific advancements, sports, or prioritizing health and well-being. From building innovative startups to excelling in global sports platforms, women are playing a key role in the nation's progress. Here's how.
India's young women entrepreneurs are redefining success, leading startups that contribute to Atmanirbhar Bharat, from technology to sustainable businesses. Women-led enterprises are fostering economic independence and innovation. Government initiatives like Startup India and women entrepreneurship platforms have empowered them to take their ideas to new heights. With increased funding support and mentorship programs, these trailblazers are proving that self-reliance starts with an idea and the courage to bring it to life.
If we are working with the rural artisans and empowering them, we are taking India to the global platforms. We want to create a brand, a legacy where we can globally represent India. We believe in the vision of Make in India. We believe in the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat, because we believe if our roots are stronger, we are going to come out more stronger. We are going to grow more sustainably.
A woman's health impacts her productivity, family, and society. Access to healthcare and awareness is key to ensuring a stronger, healthier nation.
The awareness has increased. The females are much more focused about how they manage themselves during their journey, starting from puberty till menopause and later. Girls are more aware in adolescence. The more number of patients have started coming from cervical cancer vaccination. There is awareness about pap smear. There is awareness about how your period should start. That, like, many patients are getting their periods early, so mothers are concerned about their girls. And then every issues, a lot of pubertal issues or sexual health issues are not rushed below they're not pushed below the doormat anymore.
From boardrooms to healthcare centers and from farms to space research labs, women are making a long-lasting impact. Be it leading agricultural innovations on the ground, contributing to ISRO's Chandrayaan mission, or bringing home Olympic medals, their role is pivotal in shaping India's success story. Today, women are not just participants but pioneers in every field: science, defense, business, and sports. Indian women athletes are making the country proud on the global stage. Their perseverance and achievements inspire a new generation to dream big and break barriers.
To all the wonderful women, let us act bold and move forward. Wishing you all a happy Women's Day.
On this Women's Day, the message is clear. Empowerment starts with opportunity, well-being, and equal representation. A nation that supports its women in every field paves the way for a stronger, more self-reliant and inclusive future. Kriti Vadhera's report for DD India.
India is witnessing a new wave of entrepreneurship driven by young women who are redefining traditional industries with innovation and passion. From sustainable fashion to technology-driven solutions, these entrepreneurs are not only creating successful businesses, but also empowering communities and preserving cultural heritage. Their efforts are taking Indian craftsmanship and skills to global stage, making a significant impact on the economy and society. Here's one such success story.
From the narrow lanes of rural India to international markets, Huts and Looms has emerged as a beacon of empowerment. Jaya Saha, a corporate professional turned entrepreneur, saw the untapped potential of Indian handloom and decided to bridge the gap between artisans and consumers. What started with just 5 weavers has now grown into a community over 500 skilled artisans producing exquisite textiles that blend tradition with contemporary aesthetics.
Started with a small group of weavers. While working with them, we found out there were quite a number of challenges in the handloom sector, especially with the fair wages and equal opportunities for men and women, which we tried to sort out while we have grown to around 500 plus artisans across the country. We also believe that if we are working with the rural artisans and empowering them, we are taking India to the global platforms. We want to create a brand, a legacy where we can globally represent India. We believe in the vision of Make in India. We believe in the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat, because we believe if our roots are stronger, we are going to come out more stronger. We are going to grow more sustainably.
With a vision to take Indian handloom global, Huts and Looms is leveraging e-commerce and international collaborations to bring authentic, handcrafted fabrics to a worldwide audience. Weavers who once struggled for fair wages now have stable livelihoods. Through training programs and direct market access, young women entrepreneurs of India are not just reviving a craft but ensuring sustainability for generations to come. With a growing footprint in global markets, Huts and Looms is redefining the perception of Indian handlooms, making them a symbol of sustainable and ethical fashion. Kriti Varhera's report for DD India.
In a remarkable initiative that blends women's empowerment with efficiency in public service, Indian Railways Matunga station has set up historic milestone as first suburban railway station in the country to be run by an all-women staff since 2017. This pioneering effort by Central Rail was launched in July of 2017. In recognition of this groundbreaking achievement, Matunga station earned a spot in the Limca Book of Records 2018 as a fully managed station by women. Indian Railways is operating Mumbai to Sainagar Shirdi Vande Bharat as a fully women-operated train, highlighting women's growing role in railway operations. Women on the driver's seat. On International Women's Day, Indian Navy paid tributes to Lieutenant Commander Dilna and Lieutenant Commander Rupa, two women officers embarking on a historic global circumnavigation expedition aboard INSSV Tarini. Launched in October last year, the journey is a testament to women's empowerment and Indian Navy's commitment to championing it. The officers' courageous journey, spanning thousands of nautical miles, showcases their exceptional capabilities and unwavering resilience. They have braved storms in turbulent seas, inspiring thousands of Indian women to make their mark in history. The expedition, Navika Sagar Parikrama 2, highlights the changing times and Indian Navy's efforts to promote women's participation in maritime and defense sectors. You're watching DD India News Hour. Time now for all the action from the world of sports. Sports Minister Mansukh Mandavia chaired a two-day Chintan Shivir or brainstorming session focusing on India's preparations for the 2028 Olympics and strengthening the country's bid to host the 2036 Summer Games. The session brought together sports ministers from various states, union territories, senior sports administrators, key government officials, and domain experts to exchange ideas and craft a roadmap for India's emergence as a global sports powerhouse. Sports Minister Mandavia emphasized that Prime Minister Modi has envisioned India hosting the 2036 Olympics, urged states to actively contribute to making this ambition a reality. The Chintan Shivir facilitated a dialogue on critical areas such as talent identification, coaching methods, sports infrastructure, sustainable development of various disciplines. Minister of State for Youth Affairs and Sports, Raksha Khadse, was also present on the occasion. India's Pranav Venkatesh clinched the World Junior Chess Championship in Petrovac city of Montenegro. He settled for a draw against Matic Levrencic of Slovenia in the 11th and final round of the tournament to bag the prestigious title. The 18-year-old continued his great show among juniors, remaining undefeated in the tournament. The Indian scored a total of 7 victories and 4 draws to end up with 9 points out of possible 11. When the final rounds pairing were announced, it was clear that the draw will ensure win for Venkatesh. His victory marks the end of India's 17-year wait for men's junior title. An Indian Grandmaster Arvind Chidambaram claimed the first major title of his career by winning the Prague Masters. Chidambaram settled for a draw against Turkish Eds Gürel in the 9th and final round. He finished ahead of established names including compatriot R. Pragananda. 25-year-old Chidambaram ended on 6 points out of possible 9 after his 3 victories and 6 draws in the tournament. World number 8 Pragananda finished second with 5 points after losing to Dutchman Anish Giri. India's Ayush Shetty continued his solid run at the Orleans Masters badminton tournament in France with a win over Denmark's Rasmus Gemke in the quarterfinals. 19-year-old Indian badminton player beat Gemke 21-16, 21-23, 21-17 to qualify for the semi-finals. Shetty will play world number 14 Lin Chongxi in the next clash, that is on Saturday. Shetty began the contest with aggressive intent and clinched the first game. Gemke forced his way back into the match by winning the second game. The third game of the contest saw Shetty lead 11-9 at the mid-game break. He built on the momentum after change of ends and wrapped up the match in about an hour and 21 minutes. Talon Gris Pupa stunned top-seeded Alexander Zverev 4-6, 7-6, 7-6 in the second round at the Indian Wells, avenging the loss at Roland Garros last year. The world number 2 Zverev is the first top seed to lose his opening match since Andy Murray in 2017. It was a cherished win for Graspur, who had lost 5 straight matches to the German earlier. Meanwhile, American Marcos Giron posted his first win over top 5 player, upsetting 4th seeds Casper Ruud 7-6, 3-6, 6-2. Women's defending champion Iga Swiatek eased through her opener 6-2, 6-0 against French veteran Caroline Garcia. The second seed will next face Ukrainian Diana Yastamemska, who upset Tunisian Ons Jabeur in straight sets. Elina Rybakina was sharp, taking Susan Lamens at the Netherlands 6-3, 6-3. She will face Britain's Katie Bolter in the third round after 25th seed beat Irina Camelia Begu of Romania. That's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and the world on DT India mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS. Scan the QR code, download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour. Namaskar.